Boys, today I want to go over the reselling hack that made me 1,548 hours. So, and this is the last 48 hours, by the way, or from yesterday till for Thursday night. I made $1,500 through reselling, and honestly, it's the easiest money I've ever made in my whole life. Like it literally just fell into my lap. Like I didn't have to go out and work super hard for it. I don't have to do anything, and I'm gonna explain the reasons why and the systems I put in place for like attracting this money. Now I know you think there's probably some mumbo jumbo BS, but it's not. So let me run you through what actually happened. So in the last 48 hours, right? On Thursday night, I sold four luxury bags for 750 and one luxury belt for $70. Then on Friday we sold three Bape hoodies for 250. Saturday we sold Bape hoodie and Palm Angels tees for 160, a North Face pullover for 110, and we also got our Depop payments for 186, which is a total of $1,516 in just 48 hours. And that's unbelievable, boys. I've never made that sort of money in my life, especially through reselling. Um, that's literally like double my paycheck at my work, my 9 to 5, where I spend a whole week slaving away like a little goblin. And in 48 hours, I was able to get double my wage, weekly wage. So if you're in the situation right now where you're working a job like myself, a 9 to 5, and you want to make a bit of spare cash or even double your income in a week, listen up, boys, because this is the video for you. Now you're probably thinking, what's this dude on about? He's probably bullshitting. I'm not bullshitting. This is 100% legit. This is the cash that I got, like some on the weekend, some I made from the sales, and obviously the bags here, the designer bag you see, and the transaction that came through on the Friday night after the sale on Thursday. So let me get into the two principles of how I did this. So how the hell did I do this? How did I make 1,500 just casually in the last 2 days? Through reselling. Let's have a look. So it's from two main things, boys. So number one is existing customers. Existing customers. So people I already knew from other sales came back to me and ordered stuff. And number two is social skills and rapport. This is super important. Super, super important. I'm going to get into why most people treat reselling like a side hustle, which is what it is. It's a side hustle. But you have to treat it like a real business too. You have to give it respect. If you give it respect, it'll give you respect back. And when you get that respect back, you get the money back in the form of money. That respect is in the form of money back. I know this sort of sounds like I'm waffling on a bit, but it's 100% true. And I genuinely believe it. So let's get into it. So, boys, this is 90% of kids our age. So if you're watching this, you're probably around my age. You're probably about 18, 19, maybe a bit younger, 14, 15, whatever. But this is 90% of our generation. Gamers, nerds, lazy people, or the other one, which is the worst. Or that could be a combination of all four. They could be all four. Like, I'm sure you've seen these kids around, boys. Like, I'm sure, like, some of your friends are even part of this. Like, they're just gamers, or they're, like, nerds, or they're just lazy. I hope you're not friends with people like this. But anyway, the competition is nothing, boys. The competition is nothing. I live in a city of about a million and a half people. A million and a half people. I'm probably one of the only few resellers who's actually supplying like the people in our area, and I'm selling them as reps. People can buy these themselves, but I'm supplying the people in my area. There's only a few people who are also doing this. I know of like one or two guys maximum, maybe. There's people who have had like full reselling monopolies over the whole of Australia. But boys, I'm just trying to show you this because it's so easy to get into it. It's so easy to beat the rest of the people when they're just gamers or nerds or whatever. They're just lazy people. So let's move on. So building relationships with customers. So how do we do this? So we get our items in from that we're reselling. I've got other videos on how to identify items in your area that are going to sell. So go check that out if you need items to sell. Or check out my Discord, which I'll have a link to all the products that you need to resell basically. And I go over which products are the best and whatever. And you can just DM me on there. So building relationships with clients. So we put our stuff up on Facebook Marketplace, right? We get people who message us. We get people who want to buy it. We go make the sale. Okay, what do we do next? We make them clients. We get them back and ask them, hey, do you need any more stuff? Do you need any more items that you want? I can order it in for you, bro. You follow up with them. So how do we build this initial relationship when we're first texting these people? So number one is we text like a professional. As you can see over here, we've got an example of lazy texting, just dry ass texting. If you're doing this to like your customers, what are you doing? Do you think the biggest companies in the world would be doing this to like their stakeholders or like companies that want to invest in them? Imagine they sent emails like this, one word responses, like 2 word freaking questions. Like what's that? Boys, even if the person who's texting you is dry, make sure you respond back with some decent intent, like at least like a little paragraph. Don't just give them like 1 word responses. If they say, "Hey, is this available?" Don't say, "Yeah." Say, "Hey, mate, this is available." Show a bit of rapport, show a bit of respect to people. Give them a decent response, and then say, "Hey, mate, where are you? Where are you located? Whatever." Just don't be lazy with that. Number two is don't be rude. Even if the person's rude to you, so say that you're selling a rep and they ask, "Is it real?" You say, "No, it's a rep," and they're like, "Oh, get fucked," or whatever. Don't be like that. Just say, "Hey, mate, yeah, sorry about that. You should have just checked the description. If you want, I can send you a link to the real product if you want to buy it for $1,500 or whatever." Just little shit like that. Don't be rude to people. Don't be like, "Oh, fuck off, you dickhead," or whatever. Just literally like be straight up with them. Just be like black and white. There's no need to get all colourful with that. Number three is talk to the person when you meet up with them. If you go do a sale, go talk to the person. Be a genuine human, have an interaction. Don't just make like a little 1 word freaking sale like you would over text. Freaking go up, introduce yourself. "Hey mate, how you going?" Stick out your hand, give him a handshake, introduce yourself, give him your name, ask him how their day's been, ask him what they've been doing, what else they're interested in, what other brands they like, and sort of build a connection with them. Be friendly to them. Make jokes, make them laugh. That's how you get people on your side. That's the basics of social skills and sales, boys. You need to be a likable person and you need to try help the actual customer. You need to solve their problem. Don't be like one of these people who just meets up and just like stares at them and then just like takes the money and leaves. You just look like a weirdo. You have to be confident, you have to be exuberant, you have to be out there, boys. The uniquest personalities get the most sales because people remember them. And I remember them for next time and they go back and text them again. So, moving on. That's how you build relationships with clients. Some more tips. So yeah, treat it like a real business because that's what it is. I mentioned this before, but you have to treat it like a real business, boys. If you're treating it like some BS where you're just going out to scam people, then it's not for you. You're not going to make any money. And we're going to get into like the abundance mindset later on in the video. And number two is go above and beyond. Drop the item off. Research stuff for the customer. Ask what they like. Hit them up. Ask them how they're doing. Just follow up with them. Do all the heavy lifting here, boys. Don't be one of these guys, one of these clowns who just does nothing. Super lazy, super minimalistic. Just does nothing for the actual person. Treat them like a genuine person, like you're trying to help them. You're providing them a service. That's why they're paying you. Go above and beyond, and that's when you get repeat customers and repeat buyers. Social skills. This is a massive one. I mentioned before how 90% of people are just social autists. They don't know how to communicate with people. You see me this whole video, I've been able to use my hand gestures. I've been able to talk to the camera constantly. I've made no mistakes thus far. I can talk fast. I use my pitch, my tone, and I use my personality as well. It really isn't that difficult, but it just takes reps, boys. A lot of people these days are so bad at just social skills and just genuine human interaction. So some quick tips for this. Be polite. That's basic. Don't talk too much. So don't be like a yapper. If you're like an extrovert, don't just go up there and start yapping away about stuff. You gotta actually listen to the customer as well. Yeah, and so that leads us on to the next one. Listen well. Listen to what they're saying, and then try offer solutions that best fix their problem. Be honest. Don't rip people off, boys. Don't say that that it's real. If it's a fake item, don't say it's real. Be honest. If there's some flaws in the item, point it out. And you should be communicating this anyway on your listing. Be confident, boys. Be confident. Speak with conviction. The amount of times that I haven't been confident at sales, like when I first started, and it's just so awkward. You have to be confident. Last night, for example, I'm wanting to get into like a sales role for like a DM appointment setter. I jumped on this call with 2 people I've never met before. Hardly did any practice. I literally had pretty much zero information about who the client was going to be. Hopped on and I impressed them. I got the thing, although they've ghosted me now, the fucking pricks. But because I live in Australia and they're in the UK or whatever. I hopped on and I was outgoing. I was positive. I was passionate. I spoke with conviction. I was confident within myself and my ability. I had no experience in appointment setting or any high ticket sales, but I spoke with that much confidence and I spoke so well with so much good vocabulary and like fancy words and shit that they were so impressed that they just hired me on the spot. I literally logged into this dude's Instagram who had like 30k followers and I literally had got the job until he ghosted me. So if you're watching, buddy, fuck you. Anyway, be confident, be exuberant, be outgoing. Moving on. So, how do we actually be confident? So, confidence comes from conviction. Confidence comes from your confidence in the actual product that you're selling. Now, if I was going to sell this phone on Marketplace, right, and I knew it didn't work, how confident would I be in the sale when I went up to the person and they asked me, is it working? Is it all good? Am I going to be like, yeah, it's super good, bro. You can see it turns on, it does this, it does that. I'll be like, yeah, sure, bro. Just take it. Give me the money. You've got to be confident, boys. You have to have confidence and knowledge in your field of expertise. So, if I knew the vape hoodies I was selling were shit, I would not be confident at all and I wouldn't be able to communicate effectively with the customer. And he wouldn't come back to me because I just act like I'm autistic. So, example, say you know your supplier is the best, therefore you know the client is going to be happy with the product. Be confident in your supplier, be confident in your product, be confident in the stuff that you sell. And once again, confidence comes over time and just reps through different sales. So the first time I sold an item and met up with a person, I was terrible. Like the first YouTube video I'd done, I was terrible. I couldn't speak to the camera. I've done maybe 50, 60 videos now, and I'm a lot better at speaking than when I first started. It just comes over time. And trust me, boys, if you're like in the top 10 percentile of the human like population, if you're not like the 90% of gimps who we've just discussed, lazy, gamers, whatever, you're gonna be successful in this. You're gonna learn this skill quickly. It's so easy to be confident, and confidence just comes from stacking up wins, reps, and your mindset. Now, the 80-20 principle, and this is where we actually receive our orders. So, 80% of result comes from 20% of our effort. Likewise, the other way around. 80% of effort leads to 20% of result. So, 80% of your sales are going to come from 20% of people. And this is entirely true to me. Like literally, 4 out of the 5 or 6 sales I made on the weekend were from people I already knew and had built relationships with. It didn't come from people, from strangers. A couple of them did, but now I'm going to take them on board and try to build relationships with them as well. Now, finally, the abundance mindset. This is super important, boys. Mindset and attitude are two of the biggest factors for success, I believe. So the more you give, the more you get. Whereas don't have this scarcity mindset where you're like always constantly looking to like save a penny and scrap every penny and rip people off. Don't be doing that. Be generous. Be generous. The more you give out to people, the more you get back in return. And that's just the fact of life. I know a lot of you probably don't believe in like the universal laws and that sort of thing, but I genuinely believe that these are like true. If you're a positive person, you're going to attract positive things into your life. If you're like on a negative frequency and you're a negative person, you're always a pessimist, not an optimist. Bad things are going to happen to you, aren't they? Because you're just constantly on a downer. And even if bad things do happen to you as a positive person, you perceive that as a learning experience. So it's always a positive experience no matter what. So whether you win or lose as a positive person, it's always going to be a positive experience. If you're a negative person and you have a win, you're like, oh, that's not good enough. We've got to do better. And so you're always in a negative framework. Or if you have a loss as a negative person, you're just going to take it as a loss and you're going to be like sad for like a few days. You got to use the energy from the loss into a positive force, boys. So, for example, last night when I got the appointment setting role and I woke up this morning and the guy's ghosted me, I could have spent all my energy this morning trying to text this dude, hate messages and whatever. Instead of what I've done is I've been working hard on the business all morning, on the reselling business all morning, doing videos like this, working on the reselling course, getting orders done for clients, getting quotes, sorting out different stuff. And I'm also going to do more outreach for other appointment setting roles so I know I can get a better role. And if I take that energy, put it back into something positive, positive things are going to happen from it. So, boys, it's all about having this abundance mindset. So, God in the universe will reward you eventually for your hard work and your positive attitude. Now, that's all I really had for you today, boys. It was kind of a yap session. I just put stuff down as I went, and I just put a bunch of ideas in my head onto the screen, and I thought I'd share with you and how I believe I like attracted this $1,500 in the last 48 hours. Don't believe it was just from pure luck. I believe it's because I deserve it. I genuinely deserve it because I have been working hard lately. And I believe you boys can do the exact same thing. It just takes positive mindset, the abundance mindset, confidence, social skills, and building relationships with customers and beating out 90% of people our age. Now, this was like a massive yap session. And if you've watched to the end, you are definitely sort of like compatible with me, where you agree with what I'm saying. So what I want you to do is go down to the first link in the description. It's going to be my Reselling Discord, and there's going to be other stuff on there. There's going to be links to supplies. There's going to be the reselling course, which is completely free. And then you can chat to me there as well. You can DM me. You can ask anyone in the Discord that I DM you back straight away, pretty much. I'm always talking to you on there. So if you need any help with reselling or any other advice for stuff, just let me know. But apart from that, boys, it's been a pleasure as always. I'll talk to you in the next video. See ya, bye.